Most clothing brand owners waste thousands chasing the wrong model, retail when they should stay online, or digital when a local presence would explode their loyalty. In this video, I'm going to show you how to choose the right path for your clothing brand based on numbers, customer behavior, and what actually scales. I've helped over 300 clothing brands grow across both online and retail in the last 12 months alone, and we've seen what works, what flops, and what gets bottlenecked when you scale too fast in the wrong direction. And we're going to grade both models. I'm gonna actually put it over here live on the whiteboard. So by the end of this video, you'll have complete clarity on whether your next move is digital, physical, or a hybrid. All right, so lesson number one is the overhead trap. Everyone wants the aesthetic of a storefront, but the lease, build out, fixtures, insurance, they don't care about your aesthetic. Those are actual real dollars. Brick and mortar, at the end of the day, is startup cost, depending on if you're in a small town or even in the bigger cities. It's gonna be between $40 to $150-ish thousand to actually start up. Online, I know there's some YouTube videos out there that are like, I started a clothing brand with $1 or $100. The truth is, online clothing brands, unless you're doing a print on demand and you only do organic traffic and you can do it as cheap as possible, maybe $100 or $200 for the hosting or something. But realistically, most online brands that I have seen, it's gonna be between 5 to 20K, and that's lean, launchable, and testable. Way more cost effective than I would say the brick and mortar, but that's why we're gonna give them the grade system here. Okay, so the first off here is, let's go ahead and write this out. So this is overhead and fixed costs. Online, much better grade, much easier to start. They get an A, as you would probably have guessed. Brick and mortar, I mean, comparatively to all businesses, I'm gonna give it kind of the middle of the road here. We'll give it a nice C. All right, so the false choice most brands make, most founders think it's online or retail, but the smartest brands don't pick the sequence. So one builds demand, the other builds presence. Pick wrong too early and you lose 12 to 18 months chasing the wrong thing, and I've seen it a lot where brands decide to go brick and mortar because they thought it'd be the coolest thing ever in their small town to have a boutique, or they go online because they think it's just super easy and they can get started and it costs basically no money right here. But as you will see from the rest of this video, what we're going to jump into. All right, before we get into this next one, I just wanted to say a quick hey, howdy, and hello. My name is Aaron, and alongside my business partner, Christian, we help clothing brands like yours grow and scale online. And like I mentioned earlier, in the last 12 months alone, we've helped over 300 clothing brands grow and scale online, get clear messaging, convert better, and scale smarter. So if you want to stay up to date on how to scale your clothing brand, don't forget to like and subscribe. That really helps us. And if you do it in the next 3 seconds, I'll tell you the best fruit snack from the early 2000s. What do you think it was? What do you think the best fruit snack from the early 2000s was? It's all subjective, but I said Gushers. I liked Gushers. Just as a reminder, this video is for you if you've already started online and are thinking about going physical. It's also for you if you're running a store and wondering if digital could scale you faster, and you're trying to figure out what your next best move is. Lesson number 2 is reach versus reality. So online gives you the reach, fast, global, scalable, which means noise, right? Lots of other people too. The entry level for this is extremely easy, so it means a lot of competition. Everyone's competing for the same clicks. Retail, smaller footprint, one city, typically, unless you expand. But when you do it right, people show up. You own that market. So as far as customer reach and the market, I think these are actually both pretty dang good. So online, I'm gonna give it an A- because you can still reach a ton of people. B- over here for the brick and mortar, because you could actually move to multiple brick and mortars. You also have the ability, depending on where you're at, like we're in the Dallas area, you could 100% reach a lot of people if you were in a great retail location. So could be the right people. Things are actually pretty high, pretty comparable, if you will, for the market size. Lesson 3, foot traffic isn't community. Foot traffic doesn't mean people care. It just means that you're next to a coffee shop. Which shout out to all the coffee shops. So community equals connection. Online, you build it with content, DMs, and very good stories. In store, you host it. The bad retail move I see too often, one brand dropped $70K to open their first store. It looked incredible. No local audience, no launch strategy. That's probably the biggest one, honestly. A lot of times I talk to people and they're like, well, I built it. Why are they not here? Why are people not showing up? They had no in-store content plan And 4 months later, they were out. There's a place here close to our office called Waters Creek, and it's very expensive retail space, or at least I think it's expensive. And a lot of these businesses come and go, like the restaurants just nonstop. Same thing for the boutiques. They just nonstop are just turning over people because you spend all of the time, 6, 12 months of, sometimes 18 months of build out and getting everything ready, and then you don't have the hype, you don't have the marketing, and it's just too big of a hole. You're also probably drained. So if that's you, I feel you, right? I'm very empathetic to your situation, right? The retail didn't fail. Those people just didn't build for it. Hey, look, if you're feeling stuck between online and retail or wondering how to blend the both of those, we should talk. Book a free strategy call with us and let's build your next move with actual clarity and numbers, objective data, not subjective, and not just vibes, if you will. You can schedule a free strategy call with us by checking out the link in the description down below. Do it now, there are limited spots. All right, so lesson 4 is the fulfillment factor. Online, you're packing orders, managing returns, and dealing with shipping, not drama, but it just happens every single day. There's always something that's happening with those returns. Brick and mortar, no shipping, no returns pile up, instant gratification, but scaling that simplicity, a little bit harder. That's a new store, a new lease, new headaches every single time. So let's go ahead and grade these. So online for fulfillment, honestly, this could be a little bit higher, but I'm gonna give it a C+ here. If you got the right team, you got the right logistics, you got the right system, it could probably be a B, B- here. Brick and mortar, so much easier, right? It just makes everything simpler and makes it easier whenever people come in for the instant gratification. You don't have to ship anything out. The returns, they come back to you. So I'm gonna give this A-. All right, lesson 5, experience that hits different. Yes, your product page looks nice. Awesome, good job. But online doesn't replace the feeling of walking into a space that gets you. Retail activates senses. I mean, you can literally, the music, the ambiance, like wherever you walk into, if it's got a nice like folded sweater, right? It's how a brand smells and feels and sounds and moves. And it is a big factor here. And I think that we should also make sure to consider that as we are actually grading as well. With this, I think it comes down to the brand loyalty. All right, so brand loyalty, if you are good at the marketing piece, if you are able to really kind of cut through the noise, I think online, just kind of giving it an objective number here, I'll give it a nice little B-. Brick and mortar though, very difficult to beat. There's so much that you can do, there's so much that you control. This is an A. Whoops. Lesson number 6, client case study. All right, so I'm gonna tell you a story about our very first client because they did the best of honestly both worlds. So they were selling online. This is a boutique that was not even really a boutique. It was just a one-woman show based in Southeast Kansas. And she was selling jewelry at shows, not even having an actual location, and started to pick up steam, started to make some money, was a retired teacher. And so she had the flexibility. She was approached by a local like salon. So women were getting their hair done and she had a boutique inside of there. I would say it's like 5 walls of things. So not really a ton of stuff, but it was enough that people were interested. They were getting their hair done. They were dyeing it. So they were there for 2, 3, 4 hours at a time. And what would they do? They would just shop and made a, I would say, logical first step to the business. Well, from there, they actually grew and expanded and turned it into an actual first boutique where it was no longer just the salon. So brick and mortar is doing really well. It's easier to scale. It's in a place where the community didn't have good options, I would say, or great options for clothes. So they were able to offer that to them. They moved to a bigger location and moved to a town adjacent. This is in Independence, Kansas. Shout out for anybody who has any clue of where that's at. But it's about, I would say, 3 to 5 times bigger than the initial spot where she was. They went into a smaller spot, probably about 1,200 square feet. Did well there, continued to grow the brick and mortar, started to dabble in some stuff online, but really it was just social media, a little bit of Facebook Live as this was coming around. So 2016, 2017. We originally started working with them in 2015, but 2016, 2017, Facebook Live started to come out. They did some more there, started to transition a little bit more to online, but then actually got a full brick and mortar location. I believe it was like 2018. That was much larger. This was like 3,500 square feet, large place, had it fully decorated, themed. We have an event in the community around Halloween called Neowalla. Say probably it's about 50 to 100,000 people come there and just grow the community. Did very well online. At that point, we're doing over 7 figures a year, doing really well in the brick and mortar space. Online did maybe 250,000, so super small. And the business owner decided to come to me and say, hey, look, this is a lot. This is a lot of work. I'm running around like crazy. I have to do inventory. I have to go to markets. I have to do all of these things, like the list of boutique owners. And you may relate if you are a boutique owner, if you are a streetwear brand, similar type of situation. You're just basically doing it all. So when she came to us, she said, I want my daughter to come and join the team, and I want her to be able to quit her job. She's also a teacher. So we said, the only way to be able to do that, you're not going to be able to get enough revenue from just the pure amount of people who are going to come back and buy from you. You're just limited or capped, which I think that's the biggest thing. It's right. Customer reach and market online is significantly better because if you're in a small town, 10,000 people, even adjacent places, you're just not going to reach a ton of people to scale this up. And some of you guys may be completely fine with me in $1 million or so, and that's completely fine as well. But they decided to go online. This is actually during the pandemic that this all happened. They blew up, continued to grow online, and also had the brick and mortar. Continued to do both of them online, completely took over brick and mortar. They moved the brick and mortar, shrunk it down, and then now almost exclusively do online. They kind of went through this complete transition, if you will, of starting brick and mortar, growing, taking online, and then online completely took over. And I would say if they were 25 years younger, they probably would have kept both of those, but it's just a lot of work and it's different for each person. But my point is, it doesn't matter. They could have started with online and it would have been maybe faster, but they wouldn't have had the reps that they needed to do the brick and mortar. And you can, contrary to popular belief, you can do whatever you would like with the business. You can start with brick and mortar, you could go online, you could start online and then go brick and mortar. You can do either one of them, but you need to do it methodically. And if you caught on any of the timeline that I mentioned here, this was like 2016 all the way to 2024, 2025, where all of these transitions were happening. It's not like it was just like today this happened and then you get like the instant gratification that it was going to just happen tomorrow. It's not. It's a time that is invested into it. Hey, just a quick reminder, and remember that if you skipped around into this video and you want help mapping out your clothing brand, make sure you check out the link below for a free strategy call on how to grow your clothing brand online. All right, so lesson number 7, the channel fit pyramid. Honestly sounded good. But where does your audience already shop? Makes sense. What kind of offer is this? Is it luxury? Is it everyday? Is it lifestyle? Does it need a touch? Are you trying to go deep locally or are you trying to scale globally? Now, if the layers don't align, you'll either overbuild or you're going to bottleneck your growth. And honestly, I think the bottleneck almost always happens. You've got to know who your audience is. You've got to understand who you're going after. It's Again, if you watch any of our content, it's pretty much can be summed up into find a one audience and serve them extremely well. Lesson number 8, local is not scalable. Retail wins locally, but scaling retail means new leases, new risk, and slower moves. Does it mean it's the wrong move? No, that doesn't mean anything, but that's the reality. So many people get fixated on their dreams and thinking that there is only sunshine and rainbows, but when people move to a second location, it is a much more difficult task. Online lets you test SKUs and channels fast, Amazon, TikTok Shop, whatever's next, but at the end of the day, that can also distract you as well. You can just rebound from those a little bit easier. This is probably the biggest and most important one to me because honestly, the only thing I care about for you guys is profit and making sure that you live a better life for you and your family. That's the whole, I would say, reason you're probably doing this. So this is more so scalability and flexibility grades. As you can probably guess, scalability, flexibility, online, A. Brick and mortar, flexibility, scalability, what do you think it is? Tell me in the comments. Did you get it right? I was gonna give them an F. They're actually just a D. You can move to multiple locations. It's just gonna be a lot of freaking work. Lesson 9, don't just build a store. Build a space. A storefront isn't a trophy, it's an actual tool. Create a space your audience wants to be in, even if they don't buy today. That's how brand presence turned into the brand love. That's how you build the loyalty. That's how you build community. That's how you get everyone to come back. Online, it's email and SMS and Instagram stories and just nurturing the relationships, going deeper. In brick and mortar, it's more so how you welcome people when you come in, all the way to how you talk to them at the register, how you interact with them, so you don't walk in there like the buckle and just say, hey, look, you want these jeans right here? Great, let me show you this shirt. Let me show you this belt. Like, just be helpful. Don't be that pushy salesperson that's gonna get somebody to come back and refer a friend to come back. There's a very thin line, if you will, of just not being there enough and then being there. It's not about being there too much, but being there in the wrong way. So make sure you show up well for those people. Lesson 10, clarity over cool. It's so much easier for you to focus on what's cool, what you think is awesome, what is these the best cups in the world, our front stand is gonna look like this, all of our register is gonna look like that, our website has this cool video. Clarity is so much more effective, right? Give it the clarity here, carrot, is way better than the cool factor. Don't open a store just to flex. Don't stay online just because it's familiar. Ask yourself, where does my offer convert best? Who do I serve the best? How do I show up best online? What's better for me? What margins do I actually have? This is an important one. Can I support the model that I'm chasing? If you're early stage and you're just out of college or you're just starting your career and you don't have the startup capital, go online, then go brick and mortar later. If you do have some capital and you love that space and love talking to people and loving to physically see something or touch something, then great, start the brick and mortar. Cool doesn't scale at the end of the day. Clarity does. All right, so final grades here on the whiteboard. I just want to recap these. Let's kind of pull this all together. So overhead, online gets an A. Brick and mortar, C. Customer reach and market, both very similar. Fulfillment, online, not as good. It's actually much better on brick and mortar. Brand experience, pretty similar, pretty close. Scalability, flexibility, really depends on you as the owner. I bet on the jockey more than I do the horse here in that situation. You as the business owner, what fits you? Flexibility for scaling to me, brick and mortar, D. Online, an A. No matter what you decide, whether it is online or brick and mortar, there's no wrong answer for everyone. There is the right answer that works for your brand. And at the end of this video, my goal was that you could use this and say, where am I leveraged or where is my advantage in the marketplace, and pick the route that is best for you. And remember, it doesn't matter. If you start with online, you can add brick and mortar. If you start with brick and mortar and you want to add the online component, you can do that. We talk to those people literally every single week. Use your store as a showroom and your site as a global funnel. That's how the best brands grow at the end of the day. Stacking presence and, the most important thing here, profit. Okay, so now you know whether to go brick and mortar or online route. You need to go check out this latest guide on how to grow your clothing brand right now. Whether you're brick and mortar or online, this is how you should be doing online marketing for your brand. Go watch this video right here next. All right, y'all, have a great rest of your day. I will see you next time. And P.S., make sure you subscribe.